how to create your $1 million movement client case study. In this episode of the Golden Age Entrepreneurship Show, I'm going to break down how one of my clients went from selling cell phones to a $1 million movement. This is the Golden Age Entrepreneurship Show. This is Spence Madden, founder of New Earth Business Coaching. I am here to help visionary, awakening, conscious entrepreneurs 10x their income, influence, and impact by creating and unleashing a $1 million movement that allows you to scale with recurring revenue, and most importantly, has you spending time in your genius, bringing forth your gifts, helping awakening your brothers and sisters in this grand awakening that is happening here on planet Earth. The biggest thing I help my clients with, and this is the biggest thing that helps move the needle for the income, impact, and influence, is clarifying, defining, and then creating a $1 million movement. What do I mean by $1 million movement? By $1 million movement, I mean having a ride or die tribe of soul fans that are soulmate clients, your ideal clients who buy all your programs, who open all your emails, who share testimonials, who share you on stories, and who are literally evangelical about sharing your work and your mission with the world. When you have a movement that's very clearly designed, it raises the energetics of your business and works with the universal laws of magnetism, the universal law of momentum, the universal law of frequency, law of vibration. Because you are standing for something. You are defining what you are. You're saying, hey, I'm on top of this hill and I'd love for you to come join me. It positions you as a new earth leader, which is very magnetic. And if you have an offer suite that can serve your $1 million movement, you're always going to have a business. Remember, most people have their heads under the sand when it comes to what's happening on earth right now with the Great Awakening. The fact remains, everything based in greed, lust, control, competition, which is almost all of business on this planet, will come crumbling down. There is a dystopian agenda. We can't bypass that. We as Golden Age entrepreneurs, we're expanding beyond that. We're paving our way, but there are going to be big changes. And just having a big following on your Insta or something isn't enough. That's an audience. You must move people from an audience into movement members. That's where they have buy-in. This is where they fly across the world to come to your events. This is where they share and do all your contests, and they say, hey, and they come join this movement. This person's awesome. They're sending your podcast to other people, etc. Then you're gonna have resiliency no matter what happens. Because guess what? The USD is going to plummet off a cliff. There's going to be BRICS. There's huge economic shifts coming. They're going to try and do blockchain. They're going to try and do crypto, all these things. So what can you actually do as a conscious visionary entrepreneur in and amongst this matrix collapse mess? Well, focus on creating a $1 million movement. Focus on being in service and leading a movement. When you do that, it's a lights out combination to thrive. So I have this client, D. I'm going to keep his name anonymous because he flies a little bit under the radar. And he came to New Earth Business Coaching, and he was starting a business and had an idea for a movement and a mission and what he wanted to bring forth, a program. I previously worked with D where I was actually in a container with him, actually 2 containers, very high level personal development, multidimensional events. And he liked what I was bringing forth and wanted to work with me. So he came and worked inside of New Earth Business Coaching for a little over 18 months, I believe. And when he came, he was still working a job selling cell phones. Mind you, he was the manager and he was crushing it and he was in his leadership, leading his teams and stuff like that. But he was still selling cell phones, and this was not his genius and what he wanted to bring forth long term. So rather than saying, hey, let's go out and build a product, let's figure all that out, let's do all the nitty gritty, let's back end systems, get an email going. I said, before we even look at who you want to have buying your program, let's look at the actual movement of what you're here to create on planet Earth. Because all of us who come to New Earth Business Coaching, and you, if you're listening to this, you're a visionary. You have pre-assigned soul missions to complete for part of your soul journey. And the game of this lifetime is to find out what that is and to express it fully, to allow God, source, creator consciousness to flow through you and to serve. That's what a golden age entrepreneur is. It's about service. It's about awakening humanity. Yes, we build the back end systems. We can make a bunch of money, resources, time freedom, all that kind of stuff. But fundamentally, it comes from you having this genius inside of you. You discovering your soul mission and then bringing it forward so it impacts and influences this great planet we're on, this Earth realm, to raise humanity up into our, what I would call our natural states, which is one from the heart space, fear of competition, greed, and all of those patriarchal control energetics. Also shaking off any of the oppressors and that multidimensional siphoning stuff that we know is going on as well. Well, how do you do that? The $1 Million Movement. D and I sat down. You spend some time in the forest and in the water. One of the best ways that you can if you want to come through with your idea related to your $1 Million Movement. And he came to me and said, okay, what I really want to do is change masculine and male sexuality. I think it's completely distorted right now and corrupt. And we started talking, and he's like, yeah, I don't like how there's porn. I don't like this and that. I've done a bunch of healing myself related to this. I want to do something with this. So I said, okay, well, how can we architect this into a movement? Like, what do you want to actually do? And he started by saying, I want to have men together and do in-person healing. I want to have men come together to work on the sexuality stuff so they're not alone. I'm like, okay, great. That's the starting of a movement, getting men together. Then I said, okay, well, how do you see a business piece from this? He's like, well, I don't know. I said, no, you do programs. I'm in the personal development space. I see other coaches having programs, but I really want to do it differently where I want the men to come together. And I want it to be something unique. We got talking how D in his past jobs was actually a lap dancer. And he talked to me extensively, and you can always tell when someone's really excited about something that that's the key to where to build your movement off of, because that's your leadership, your essence, was when he, how he empowered himself through lap dance and how he had so much fun dancing for these women and how he brought consciousness and awareness into it. And, he was one of those ones where, if you like hire, like semi strippers where they'll come in dressed up as cops or whatever. He'll play the music, and then the next thing you know, the two guys who are like all ripped and jacked are taking off their pants and they're swinging around while they're in Speedos. It was that kind of stuff, and he really liked it. And I thought, this is really interesting. Like, what is here? So then we started talking about developing a program that could actually be the foundation, the financial foundation of this movement he wanted to build. So what he developed, and keeping it in person, and he wanted to keep it in person to start, was let's get men together and let's shift their sexuality by having them reclaim their ability to move their body in sexual manner, to bring back the sexual dance to masculinity. So he ran a beta round off this, and he had 10 or 10 men sign up. And it was off the charts, and they had so much fun, like setting up lap dances for women and moving it around and like freeing themselves. And it was done in a really like conscious, high vibe, like take our power back from the patriarchy kind of way. So we now had proof of concept of this, that it worked. And we said, okay, let's take this to online. And we built out a whole program around this. And it has turned into a masculine movement of helping men from all over the world heal their relationship to sexuality and to become extremely comfortable in moving their body in a very freeing manner. And it's intensive. He's a very powerful masculine leader. Like, men during the whole process have to agree to abstain from sex with their partners to cultivate their energy. They go and they do things in the park and like just all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's like really, really empowering and a little bit out there. But now he's had several hundred last time I talked to him, and that was a while ago. So, 1,000 men come through his program, which is absolutely incredible. Well, when you're charging 1,000 or 5,000 for these programs, and then you have an online in person, then you have the online one, you very quickly have $1 million movement. But more importantly, he has these men sharing his work, and he has women sharing his work as well, because he is very strategically, under my guidance, went and set up collaborative partnerships with aligned visionary women who are also doing things related to sexuality and healing in their own audiences. So he's been put in front of millions and millions of potential followers of movement makers, and women love what he's doing just as much as men, because women love the idea of their sacred masculine, being able to move his body in a very freeing way, and then be able to bring that to the bedroom, to be able to bring that to their sacred connection time, to just be playful and fun and be like, hey, hon, I'm going to give you a lap dance because you deserve it. And then know how to do like a 5-minute lap dance, like just literally reversing the roles of what the patriarchy programs for fun. And that's really snowballed for him. And it's been quite amazing to see how you can go from selling cell phones to $1 million movement when you have the right support, like you get here at New Earth Business Coaching. When you have a simple strategy to execute, guess what? He's on social media, but he doesn't spend hours posting. He's not posting things every day and this, because this is not really his jam. So that's why we architected the collaboration strategy, and that's the main way he gets in front of his audience or builds his audience. And then he has systems to invite them to become movement members, the freebies, live calls, all these different things. And now he just continually has more and more men joining his movement, more and more men joining his program, and it just keeps going. And with the rising of consciousness, he's perfectly positioned to continue to soar. Because even when there is a big shift in buying power from the middle class and BRICS rolls out and all these different things happen, men are still going to want to heal this. And when you have a movement, you have such a powerful energy. Because remember, think of your business and your leadership and what you're doing as an energy that's resonating out across the earth plane. Well, if you're the leader and the creator of it, and you're on point and you're resonating in your power and you're so on point with what you're doing, and you feel like you're expressing it in such a great way that makes total sense, like Doug was by the end of our time working together, is totally in his power. You're using the law of frequency, and it's coming outward of you, expressing across the earth realm. And then you have all these movement members who are stoked on what you're doing and the mission you're bringing forward, and they're resonating. Well, this connects into the earth realm, and naturally posts go viral on social media. Naturally, someone finds you, signs up right away. Naturally, someone sees your stuff, shares it on their story. Like a woman shares it on her story. Love this guy, love what he's doing for men. And then lo and behold, 10 men see that, 20 men see that post because maybe she was an influencer or something. All of a sudden, he's got 20 new men sign up for his newsletter, 10 men coming to his free complimentary introduction calls, and then he's got 10 men signing up for his in-person or flying in from all around the world, as they've started to do now. So it's really cool to see this happen. And remember, if you have a bunch of people on board with you that are actually soul tribe, now they're ride or die soul tribe, they're invested in you, they love what you're doing, they're evangelical about what you're doing, well, it's going to naturally resonate and spread out from there. That's a lot more powerful than you just sitting alone, not having a movement, especially when you're here to bring the impact, right? A lot of people are fine. They just want to make some bucks. They're not here to be in the golden age of entrepreneurship yet. They're just wanting to provide for their family. But I know you want to do all that and more. You want to actually fundamentally shift the frequency of humanity back into the heart space, back into these higher timelines. You're here to awaken your brothers and sisters and play a role in this great awakening, this grand rising that is happening, the golden dawn. And you do that by creating $1 million movement. Now, I showed you how Doug went from basically the cell phones to this $1 million movement leader. Amazing. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter if you made $1 million right now. Great. So what if you have $1 million? Cool. Well, come in here. Let's make that a $10 million movement, and let's actually focus on the movement piece. If you're making 10,000, great, cool. Where's your movement? Let's build a movement from there. If you're making 50 to 100,000 recurring revenue each month, amazing. You probably have a movement to a certain point, but there's always areas you can deepen and expand your movement. That's the expertise and the genius that I bring forward after many, many years of creating movements, both for myself and with other leaders. If you want support with this, reach out to me at newearth.business. That's a dot is in a period on social media at newearth.business, www.newearth.business, not .com, www.newearth.business or newearthbusiness at protonmail.com. I'd be happy to discuss if you're fit to work within the New Earth Business coaching containers. My inbox is always open, so please send me any messages, any questions, any topics you'd like for a future episode of the Golden Age Entrepreneurship Show. And remember, this is 365 days. I will be bringing you consciousness, leadership, and New Earth business tips, tools, and strategies to help you 10x your income, impact, and influence this year and unleash your $1 million movement that helps awaken humanity, creates the time, energy, and financial resources for you to live your New Earth vision today, and helps you just freaking enjoy this soul journey that we are on right now, bringing more joy into every moment. That is the path of the Golden Age Entrepreneurship Show. That's what we're doing 365 days a year. So please, on the podcast app you're listening on right now, hit subscribe. I very much appreciate a 5-star review as well. That's going to help us bring this movement and build this energy. Remember, we talk about the law of frequency, the law of magnetism, the law of vibration, movement. When you share, it is a sign that you're on board with the Golden Age Entrepreneur movement, and it is so appreciated to help us continue to leverage those universal laws. Anything else you could ever want to know about me, www.newearthbusiness. Sometimes I mess that up and say .com, but it's www.newearth.business. So to wrap this up, anyone can create $1 million movement if they bring their leadership, their passion, their vision, and most importantly, clarifying what their genius is beyond anything else. What is their gift? What is their soul mission? And then architecting the movement, the business, the systems, everything around that. That is the key to bringing forth the Golden Age Entrepreneurship journey of joy. From my heart to yours, this is Spence Madden signing out, and I will see you in a future episode, which, if you're on board with the movement, is tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.